Wait a minute. Yep, it's official. Pikachu reached boss level.
Pokemon Ranger, I choose you!
What's up, my dear boys and girls from everywhere, it's your Ranger Boy here, and welcome to another review of the Pokemon X, Y, and Z anime. It's finally time, guys. We finally have reached the Kalos League finals, with episode 37, the finals, Satoshi versus Alan. I don't know how it's even possible, but somehow, Pikachu reached another freaking level of badassness. Is that even a word? Well, I don't care. But let's be honest, guys, we all thought that after the Ash vs Shota battle, Pikachu couldn't be more badass. But holy heck, after this episode came around, my face was like this. So without any hesitation, let's get right into the review! We finally are here, the finals, the fight we all have been waiting for weeks. The final countdown, Ash vs Alan. And while we all are mentally hyped for this epic clash, Ash and Alan are preparing themselves mentally as well. But you can see from their eyes alone that both can't wait to battle against each other. And of course, not only the rest of the gang, but also Mayrin are cheering for them as well. But let's push the other people aside for now, because it's time for the finals. Will Ash win and come closer to earn the right to challenge the Hunter and the L4? Well, he definitely makes a good step in the right direction with the first battle, which is Pikachu versus Tyranitar Tyranitar. And just like Tyranitar Tube is looking forward for fresh Sun and Moon leaks, so is Tyranitar itself looking forward to beat Pikachu by activating its Sand Stream and starting the first match with a Dark Pulse attack. But soon after that, Ash immediately activates his own skill, his unpredictable battle style. And what does he do this time long? Well, I will tell you, my children. Somehow, after witnessing Dark Pulse destroying the environment and influencing the water as well, he used that little phenomenon to his advantage to smash the water up in the air with Iron Tail to nullify the dangerous sandstorm. And while Tyranitar was confused as hell about this little trick, Ash and Pikachu used that distraction for a stealthy Thunderbolt. But unfortunately, Ash's opponent is not just one regular trainer, it's Alan. And he's just thinking to himself, oh hell no, and starts to improvise as well by using Stealth Rock and then smashing them with its tail as some kind of bullets towards our little yellow buddy. But luckily, Pikachu was able to deflect it with Iron Tail, and after both clashed with Crunch and Iron Tail, Tyranitar throws Pikachu in the air. But thanks to Pikachu's insane agility, it was able to make a quick counter attack with Electro Ball, and boom, headshot. That's the end of Tyranitar. And that, my dear boys and girls, was just battle number 1. If Lion-O from the Thundercats would be here right now, he would be saying, ho! Shit! And not only myself, but also the XY gang, and especially Clement, seems to think the same way. And while the XY gang are happy about Ash's lead, we are witnessing Prof. Sycamore thinking about his conversation with Alan while asking himself what Alan's actually fighting for. But no time for getting emotional, since it's still time for some battle action with the second battle, Weavile versus Noivern. And Ash tries to get another advantage by starting off with Supersonic. Unfortunately, Weavile was able to stop that with a Protect Night Slash combo, and although Noivern's second Supersonic attempt hits the mark, Weavile doesn't really seem to be influenced at all, since it was able to clash with Noivern's Boom Burst by using Ice Beam. But our beloved baby Pokemon tries to answer with Dragon Claw, and not even Double Team was able to avoid that attack, since no one was able to detect the real one quickly. Unfortunately, Weavile has the upper hand when it comes to speed, and after influencing its opponent's speed with Ice Beam, Alan's sneaky Pokemon finished Noivern off with Night Slash. Well, Noivern did its best, and even its mentor Hawlucha comes out from its Pokeball to cheer Noivern up, and of course, this also means it's time for some revenge, because now Hawlucha has entered the ring to avenge its friend. But sadly, it doesn't seem to be a good start for our wrestler as well, since not only several Karate Chops couldn't hit Weavile at all, but also due to Hawlucha being busy attacking, it didn't realize that Alan was tricking him into going into the water. And after that, Weavile tried to trap Hawlucha with Ice Beam. Due to Hawlucha's good timing, it could escape that trap. And after blocking another Ice Beam, Hawlucha then strangely enough turns red all over its body. And guys, I checked that scene several times, but it doesn't seem to be a move at all, since at that moment Ash just told Hawlucha to block Ice Beam and nothing more. Maybe it's just Hawlucha's passion for fighting. I don't know, but what I know is that Hawlucha tanks all the attacks of Weavile with all its passion. And after doing that successfully, it counters the opponent with a head scissor. Yes guys, that's a wrestling move, before delivering the final blow with flying press. Guys, I will be honest, on the one hand I'm kinda confused, but on the other hand I'm happy that Hawlucha won. And while I'm still confused about Hawlucha's hidden talent, everybody else doesn't really seem to mind, and especially Lysandre seems to be really impressed. Speaking of impressive, it's time for Alan's third Pokemon, which is his Bishop. And that Pokemon definitely is an impressive one. It was able to stun Hawlucha with Thunder Wave immediately, and after clashing with Hawlucha, it successfully hit Ash's Pokemon with Guillotine. And if you know Pokemon, then you know what happens if your opponent hits you with that attack. And while calling back both their Pokemon, Alan can't help but smile all over his face, because of the pure enjoyment and fun he's experiencing right now. That's why he couldn't wait to let out his next Pokemon, which is his Unpheasant. Let's be honest guys, after witnessing so many badass Pokemon from Alan, this seemed to be a rather disappointing choice. Well, that's what we thought back then, but it could easily hold its ground against Talonflame. And speaking of ground, of course, that battle wasn't a battle on the ground, but a battle in the skies. And I can describe that battle like this. It was like a battle of two freaking air jets. Both were skyrocketing like crazy, and while Ash increased his Talonflame speed with Flame Charge, Alan tried to stop it by attacking with Air Slash and Sky Attack. But bad news for Alan, Ash then decides to finally attack properly with Brave Bird, but this wasn't still enough to overpower Unpheasant's Sky Attack, and in the end, this match ended with a double KO. And while Ash and Alan are still deeply focused, Clement tells Tiano and his gang that Ash actually never won against Alan. But then Serena states that Ash back then wasn't the same, and not only Serena but also Alan recognized that as well, because he also realized those determined eyes of Ash, which causes him to smile even more. And never have his companion Mayron nor his boss Lysandre ever has seen Alan like this before. So the battlefield changes into a less rocky area now, and soon both are sending out their next Pokemon, Metagross versus Pikachu. And like always, Pikachu tries to leave a mark with his trademark Thunderbolt, but Metagross was able to dodge that with agility. Interesting choice, I have to say. And we all know how quick Ash's Pikachu actually is, but Metagross still was able to keep up with Pikachu. Impressive. And despite Metagross landing a successful Metaclaw, still no Pikachu KO. Metagross using Rock Slide, still no KO. What about Meteor Mash? Guess what? Still no KO. Believe me guys if I say that this Pikachu is not normal. And not only we all think so, but especially James, since he still believes in Pikachu despite Jessie and Meowth being more interested in Metagross. But soon enough, Pikachu proves its badass status by attacking Metagross with Electro Ball, holding onto it and attacking it with a determined Thunderbolt long enough until Metagross was too exhausted to do anything, and then finished it off with a high-speed Iron Tail from above the sky. Badass! And if you think that I'm happy right now about Pikachu's victory, then just imagine how James must feel right now after witnessing Pikachu's victory. James, my boy, this must feel good. So after one of Alan's strongest Pokemon got bodied by Pikachu, Alan realizes that Bishop won't be enough to challenge Ash's longtime buddy. So he instead sends out his ace, Charizard, and despite receiving a quick attack followed up by a Thunderbolt, that of course is still not enough to take down Charizard. And just like Serena right here, we all are hoping and praying for Ash and Pikachu to succeed next week. Yes guys, unfortunately that's the end of today's episode. And I hate cliffhangers! But I won't be able to change that, so without any more grudges, let's go right into the rating. What can I say about the story? Before I will go deeper into the battles, I have to point out several things which I enjoyed besides the battles. Of course, first of all, I have to mention Alan, and something which we rarely have seen during the league or in general. Pure enjoyment and fun. During the whole league, he seemed to be so freaking bored because every opponent seemed to be so weak. And adding all the problems in regards of Mayron and Professor Sycamore, you just saw that bored and depressed Alan nearly 24/7. The only moments you haven't seen him bored was when he was watching Ash. And after finally reaching the point where he is able to fight Ash, he really is like a kid who finally gets its candy. Pure satisfaction. And of course you could see that satisfaction from Ash as well, because of course Ash never won against Alan, and now he finally wants to do the seemingly impossible thing, and I believe that he will do it. But now let's go into the battles. Pikachu vs Tyranitar. I don't want to say a lot about this battle since it was just a demonstration of Pikachu's power. And of course, in combination with Ash's unpredictable battle style, there's no team which is more unique. But despite that, I also really liked how Alan tried to adapt Ash's improvising style as well. But this just shows that only Ash can pull off something this awesome. Weavile vs Noibet, I just gotta say that Noibet really tried its best, but in the end, due to speed and type disadvantage, it stood no chance against Weavile, which made the outcome a little bit too obvious and a little bit too quick. That's why I might cut off 1 point because of this. The Weavile vs Hawlucha battle was on the one hand really good when it comes to showing Hawlucha's battle style, but on the other hand, that one event where Hawlucha turns red because of its passion for battle, so confusing. Hawlucha vs Bishop was over really quick, but in this case it was kinda understandable because due to Hawlucha already being weakened and due to Guillotine being a one-hit KO move. The birds in the sky battle were over really quick because of the nature of both Pokemon to attack at high speed without even taking a break, which in my opinion is also as logical as their double KO as a result. And last but not least, we have Pikachu vs Metagross, and just wow. To think that a little guy like Pikachu was able to actually tank one attack after another was just even beyond my imagination. And I guess nobody has expected Pikachu to achieve a new boss level and then to even come out as a winner, respect. Total respect. But because of the Weavile battle against Hawlucha being confusing and all the other little things, I had to cut off some points, but in the end this story scores a 8 out of 10. What can I say about the focus? It's the finals, it's Ash vs Alan. Nothing more to add to it. I especially loved how they focused on both Ash and Alan's pure enjoyment for this battle, which just underlines the second part of today's focus. 10 out of 10. And like always guys, you know how I am, the animation at the end. In today's episode, we had nearly everything. From epic Michael Bay-like explosions, close-up slow-mos, till air jet-like battle. It was kind of like a festival of animation highlights, with of course 3D camera movement and shadowing describing the intensity, and it was just insane. What I especially loved about today's animation were how they animated certain Pokemon of today's episode, Hawlucha's mysterious phenomenon and Pikachu's pure badassery and determination in all of its battle. And I loved that moment where Ash shouts Thunderbolt and that beautiful transition from Ash's eye to Pikachu's, which also just underlines their bond. And of course both trainers and their determination was animated beautifully as well, so without a doubt 10 out of 10. So guys, like the first part of the semi-finals, this first part of the Kalos League finals scores a 9.33 out of 10 with the recommendation. Well guys, I don't know why the writers are doing it right now, but in my opinion they want to show us once again who is the boss of Ash's team and who is the main face of Pokemon. It's Pikachu, and to be honest I really welcome that. Because although I absolutely love Ash Greninja as well, I do think that it was necessary to show that Pikachu still plays an important role in Ash's team, which is of course important as Greninja. And maybe because they want to hide the shameful display of Pikachu in black and white. Well, could be possible, but nonetheless, I totally recommend this episode. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed my review just like always, and see you guys in my comment section down below. Bye guys!